everybody. I am outside and I am ready to write a color poem. Today I'm going to use this template because it's going to help me write a poem about one particular color. I chose yellow because yellow has always been one of my favorite colors. And I started off by doing a very quick search around my house for things that were yellow. It took me about 2 minutes to find these items. I made some frozen croissants this morning for breakfast, and I found this box. It's empty because we ate them all. I planted some sunflowers in my garden recently. I had this lemon that was halfway open. Had some delicious Chinese takeout recently, a banana, and these rain boots. So I started with the feelings that yellow gives me: alive, vibrant, warm, bright, awake. I thought of sounds, the crack of a fortune cookie, the smell of croissants baking, tastes, things that I saw like the rain boots. I'm going to show you how to take your brainstorm and turn it into a poem using the inspiration that we got from Red is a Dragon and Red Sings from Treetops. So I'm gonna first remind myself what I noticed about these poems. So Red is a Dragon is almost like a list poem. Red is a dragon, red is a drum, red are the firecrackers, here they come. Red are melons, cool and sweet. Red are lychees, a summer treat. I notice on here that it's almost like a list, and in between there's some really great describing words that use different senses. So I can do that in my poem. Something I noticed about this poem that I really love, that I would like to try out in my poem, is I noticed that the author, instead of listing all of the things that are red, uses actions like sings and turns and squirms to give us clues about what the different things are. So spring, in spring, red sings from the treetops. Cheer, 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 each note dropping like a cherry into my ear. So even though the author never says it, I believe this poet is talking about cardinals. And instead of saying red is cardinals, the author says red sings from the treetops. I would really like to try that out. So that means I'm gonna have to give the color yellow some actions. I'm going to try that out in my poem. I'm going to write with yellow, and I'm going to call this poem What is Yellow? And I will write the first idea with you, and then I think I'll write the rest in time lapse. So I'm gonna start by trying this technique of making the color yellow do something. So, yellow buzzes. And hums. I'm thinking a little bit about a sunflower, and I think I'm starting with this idea of a bee. Then takes a rest. On giant sunflowers. Yellow splishes. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a little bit of editing. You might have noticed that I had a really hard time ending my poem. I couldn't quite figure out how to make it feel closed, and I just reread it. And you'll notice I have this bad habit of starting my pages over here, thinking that it's just going to be one page, and then I ended up having to go back over here. So usually it's a much better idea to just start on the left side and write to the right. But when I type up my poem in the end, I will do that. So I just reread what I wrote. What is yellow? Yellow buzzes and hums, then takes a rest on giant sunflowers. Yellow is the warm breeze gently cooling a hot summer day. Yellow splishes, splashes, stomps in a puddle, spraying, saying, ah. Yellow is the buttery, flaky, tiny bit crunchy, warm bite of fresh baked croissants. Yum. It is the sweet and sour, sticky lemonade and the clinking of ice cubes in my glass. Yellow wakes up early, cracks open the day, holds bright promises. So I realized after I wrote this that the last thing I wrote is actually going to be the first thing in my poem. I want to open up with waking up early. So yellow wakes up early, cracks open the day, holds bright promises. I think I'm going to go... Ooh, maybe I'll go to breakfast next. So yellow is the buttery, flaky. That's going to be number 2. And then I think I'm going to go buzzing and humming. I'm going to end with It's time for the final steps of publishing my poem. So I wanted to show you what it would look like to edit a poem. You can see it starts to look a little bit messy, and that's okay. I'm going to reread my poem, and I want to be looking for words that don't look quite right, and I will circle them. So I see yellow buzzes and hums. That doesn't look quite right. Then takes a rest on giant sunflowers. I know my short vowels, so hums would be H-U-M-S. Yellow is the warm breeze gently cooling a hot summer day. Yellow splishes, splashes, stomps in a puddle, spraying, saying, ah. Yellow is the buttery, flaky, tiny bit crunchy, warm bite of, that first grade word of does not look quite right. I'm gonna go look that up on a first grade sight word list, and now I remember, it's OF. It is the sweet. That does not look quite right for sweet. I know that if I want to make a long vowel sound, I would have to do a vowel team or a magic E. And okay, so I'm all edited. I'm gonna go type up my poem. Ooh, one last thing. You can put in line breaks. So line breaks can help give your poem rhythm. And for example, I might decide that in my first beginning of the poem, because I decided this is gonna go at the front, that I want yellow to be on its own line. And then wakes up early on its own line, cracks open the day on its own line, holds bright promises. So that's how I can show where I want to press the enter key when I am typing. And here it is, my final poem. I have added line breaks to give it some rhythm, and the last step I might do is to add some illustration to my poem and then share it. What is Yellow by Miss Baker? Yellow wakes up early, cracks open the day, holds bright promises. Yellow is buttery, crunchy, warm bites of fresh baked croissants. Yellow buzzes and hums, then takes a rest on a giant sunflower. Yellow is the warm breeze gently blowing to cool off a hot summer day. It is the sweet and sour, sticky cup of lemonade and the clinking of ice cubes in my glass. Yellow splishes, splashes, stomps in a puddle, spraying and saying, "Ah."